Okay guys, down here in the shop area and keeping up with the theme of cleaning off the workbenches. As you guys can see, I've got these are the pieces here that go into the Camaro that the headliner actually glues to at the rear cell area. These are some door hinge bolts that I'm going to clean up because we're going to be fitting the doors to the car again. This is the trunk latch mechanism that I'm going to be cleaning up. I've got the trunk, I guess you'd call that the trunk latch as well, for the deck lid itself. And then this is a new T10 yoke that I had ordered for the 81 Camaro so I could finish up the drive shaft. I've got U-joints and everything laying up there on the workbench, and this needs to be put together. But before we can put it together, we need to coat it the same as the drive shaft. I went ahead and taped inside here just to try to minimize any of the blasting in that area. I'm going to go ahead and, I'm not going to powder coat inside that area. I'm going to just put some oil in there to keep it from rusting, and just want that to be machine surface really. And like I said, I'll coat it with oil. This part here I had previously powder coated a while back, and I missed a bunch of areas underneath it. It's real hard to see when you're doing this color, so you have to be real careful, and I had missed a bunch of areas, and I had went back and tried to coat it, and it just didn't do right, so I'm going to strip it down and do it again. But that's what I got going on. Thought I'd bring you guys along for that, and we'll go ahead and get these parts in the blast cabinet, get to blasting, and I'll show you how they turn out. This particular tape is the high temperature tape. It's actually from Eastwood. Also have the headliner pieces ready to go. They've been blasted and cleaned. So we'll get them down there in the booth. We'll be ready to spray some powder. We're down here in the basement, and you guys may remember this area. This is where we do a powder coating at. We got the yoke in the booth here right now. I'm getting ready to powder it. We just got 3 pieces to do. We got those 2 headliner pieces and then this yoke. I was going to do them all at the same time, but I got to thinking about it, and this is a lot heavier part. It's going to take it a lot more to get up to temperature. So I'm going to do this in 2 sessions. We'll do this part first and then do the 2 aluminum pieces. I'm not going to pre-bake them. They're just small parts. Actually, the headliner glues to those little headliner pieces. You'll never see them, so if I get a little bit of outgassing, it's going to be okay. And hopefully this part will do well too. Like I said, I'm not going to pre-bake it or nothing like that. The reason you pre-bake it is in case if there's something in the metal, then once it heats up, it would release, and then it would look like dirt in the coating. Actually, this was a new part. You guys seen it before I put it in the blast cabinet. A lot of times you'll see that on a real rusty part. You'll want to pre-bake it if you've got a lot of rust pits or anything that you've blasted out. Even though it looks clean, you'll want to pre-bake it and make sure nothing else comes loose there. But these parts, I feel pretty good about them, and like I said, they're just small parts, so I'm not going to run the oven twice. Or actually it would be 3 times really with the way we're going to do this. But I'll bring you along, and we'll see how it goes. had a little trouble getting the powder right there at the very bottom here because I had that rod running through there, and that's where it's grounded at. And a lot of times where the ground is, it don't want to stick there. So you can see I removed that ground rod, repositioned it. I turned the voltage down, and I also turned the air pressure down and just feathered some in. Now this is a LED light that I'm using, and let's take a look. This is a hard color to do sometimes because it looks just so much like the bare metal. You really have to look at it to see, and I can't tell how this is turning up on camera, but that area right there is where I was having trouble getting it to stick. You know, guys, if you didn't like it, you put too much on it or whatever, you could always just take it outside, blow it off, start over. I think I like it. I'm gonna put it in the oven. This is Eastwood's cast aluminum. It's 375 degrees for 20 minutes. Right there's a shot of it in the oven. Now I'll start this and it'll start at 350. I'll let it get there and then we'll adjust accordingly. We'll go ahead and blow some of this excess out of the booth here and get ready to spray these other pieces. This is, like I said, the cast aluminum, and I've only got about this much of it here left. And the reason I'm not going to spray all these the same color is because I got to save some of this for the yoke at the rear, just in case I need it. I'm a little worried that if I tried to order some, it may be a little bit different. They may have changed brands or something, I don't know. But I'm going to hold on to this because this is the exact powder that I use for the rest of the drive shaft, and I just want to make sure I got enough to do the rear end part of it. Okay guys, I've got this thing just now turned up to 440 degrees, and the part was right at 300, and it was just starting to flow out. See if I can get zoom. You see right there, it's just starting to flow. It's just now getting there, guys. It's coming up to 370, so we're going to start the timer. And now, like I said, I'll check it every 5 minutes or so, make adjustments if I need to, and we're going to go for 20 minutes. I'll turn the oven off, open the door, let it cool down. When the part cools down, I'll take it out, and then we'll start on those other ones. I'll bring you back when we start on those other ones. Not going to give you a lot of verbiage on those because it's basically the same thing as what we're doing here. Okay guys, we're coming up on the 15-minute mark. I didn't set this until we was already 5 minutes into it. So it should be pretty much done. Right there's 370. Of course it's starting to cool down pretty quick. So guys, we're going to let this cool down. I'm going to do the other two parts, and I'll give you some action shots of that, and I'll bring you back then. I was going to epoxy this part, but when I looked at this channel, I knew that I wouldn't be able to get the epoxy down in there unless I just brush painted it without creating a lot of runs and everything. So I thought, well, I might be able to get the powder to flow, because if I can get enough charge on the part, maybe the powder will flow in there and coat it. That was a chore to get that powder down in that recessed area. I kept blowing it out, and what I wound up doing was turning the voltage down about halfway and dusting it in, and even then it didn't want to cover, so I went ahead and coated the whole outside and the back side, and then come back and what was left, I was able to dust it in. Let's take a look. Still don't know if I've got it all, but I can tell there's powder in there. Very tough to do, really. And I've got quite a bit of excess on the outside, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I don't think I've missed anything. I actually dropped this piece the first time I tried it. I was trying to get into that recessed area there. So guys, we're going to put it in the oven and do the next one. Right there we are. We'll see how those turn out when they are cool and we can get them out. Flowed out real quick, and one thing that I forgot was this oven was already warm. So I'm surprised they don't have a lot of orange peel. They actually look pretty decent, as far as I can tell from here. What I'm real curious to see is just how much powder we got down in the ends there. But anyway, we gotta wait till they cool. So I've got these parts ready to coat with the zinc coating. And anybody that's not familiar with this process, I did a video on it sometime back. I show the whole process, and that video is about a 50-minute video. I think it's called Restoring Bolts and Fasteners. So go check that out if you haven't seen this. I'm not really going to film this since we have that video, but I'll bring you back once I have everything coated. And generally what I'll do is I'll let these set a day and let this oil dry on it as a final protect it, and then I'll come back and just take a paper towel and wipe the excess off, and then they're ready to go. Also got this trunk latch blasted, got it all cleaned up, and I really haven't decided what I'm going to do here yet. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and powder it back the same color as the drive shaft there, the yoke, or if I'm going to try to do it with the body color of the car. I really want something that won't really scratch very easy. I mean, it's probably no way around it. It's this part that's actually going to get scratched because it's metal to metal contact on the bottom part of the latch. If I do it a different color than the rest of the trunk lid, I believe it'll draw attention just to that part, and that's not what I want to do. And here's our parts out of the powder coat room. Everything turned out really good. These turned out really nice. You can see there a little dent in the metal. I didn't fix that. I didn't try to straighten. I did straighten the edge a little bit. I straightened this edge down here a little bit. But the part that I like about it is it's coated in there. That would have been real hard to do. Trying to do it with a detail gun. Both of them turned out really good. There was some pitting in the metal on this one. Like I said, these are parts that really you'll never see. But like Roger said in one of his latest videos, all this stuff's got to be painted. Every bit of it. And these are just small details that's got to be done. The yoke turned out really good. It should match the rest of the drive shaft. I've still got to untape it and everything. So I wound up getting one of these mill gauges like Roger showed on his channel, Mr. Fireman 164. And something I've kind of been curious about is the mill thickness of these powder coated parts. and I've been doing some checking on it. Getting right at about 2 mils on these parts. It's just something I've always been curious about, is mil thickness on these sprayed powdered parts. Sometimes it's 1.5 to 2, but it's on an average it's about 2 mils. Right at about 2 mils. So that's an interesting test, that something I've always wondered. And the parts up there on the motorcycle, the side covers, I had powdered those black, gloss black, and then went over that with a clear coat, and I tested it, and it's 4 mils. Of course, those have been wet sanded and buffed, and I guess it's safe to say that on a single coat, I'm getting about 2 mils of coverage on this powder. Now, I looked it up online, and on an electrostatically sprayed part, it's anywhere from 1.5 mils to 3. So I'm definitely right in that range. So it's pretty interesting. Ever since I got this in the mail the other day, I've been running around testing everything. I tested the wife's Jeep, I tested her Camaro, I tested the truck, and what was interesting on that, the truck has some clear that's actually failing on the roof and on the hood. There's a few spots that you can tell. It's not really peeling, but it's just burnt. It's gone. And you could definitely tell a big difference in the mils between those spots and the spots that look normal. It was about 2 mils difference. So that's just that's an interesting tool, and I'd like to thank Roger for sharing that on YouTube. The part that I'm looking forward to using it is on primer and sanding, especially on clear and sanding clear. I'd like to be able to start with my baseline and know how many mils is on the panel, and then when I get finished, know how many mils, and then I'll be able to determine how many mils of clear is still left on the panel for protection. I think that's pretty neat. So Roger, I appreciate you sharing that on your videos. So that's probably going to do it for the workbench, guys. Pretty much got it cleaned off. I do have some more bolts to do. I've always got bolts to do during this restoration. These are the window channel screws that actually hold the weather stripping in place. And on the roof of the Camaro, there's some interior screws, and then there's the clamps and everything for the dome light and stuff like that. So that's got to be done. But we'll do that at a later date. With this restoration, there's always this stuff to do. The next thing is, I've got this condenser here for the compressor. Probably not going to do it just yet, because it's where it's coming up on Christmas time. The funds are a little low. I do want to share this with you guys. I had bought this rapid air regulator. It's 3/4 inlet, 3/4 outlet. But I had bought it under the Maxline name, and it was a little bit lower price. Now right now the website says $59.89, but I had bought this back in October, and it was $50.90. And when I actually got it and it came in, it's actually got the Rapid Air sticker on it. Now online, these things usually range about $75 to $85, especially the 3/4. So I thought I'd just pass that along to you guys if anybody's looking to get one of these. This is a good price. Like I said, it's right now it's $59.89, which is still a good price. But back when I got it, right there's the part number, K93217. Back when I got it, it was $50.90. It's went up just a little bit. Like I said, I ordered it on September the 30th, and they shipped it on October the 2nd. But right there's the part number on their website, K93217. It shows it as Max Line, which I thought it would be the same thing. It's just maybe, you know, not their name on it. But when I got it in, it's actually Rapid Air. And this is the same thing that I bought when I was doing the air system. I did the same thing. I bought one and it came in, and I thought, man, that's the more expensive one, the Rapid Air. But I thought that was a good deal, so pass that on to you guys in case any of you are wanting to get one of those. Definitely check that website out. It's Blaine's Farm and Fleet. And like I said, we'll probably hold off on this till after first of the year, and we'll get this installed on the Quincy. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. Pretty much getting the workbenches taken care of, and we'll be getting back to the car. Probably will go ahead and put that drive shaft together so I can get the U-joints off the workbench and everything, get it put up in a safe place. And again, this is actually for the 81 Camaro. This is not for overkill. The one for overkill's already been done, and it's just sitting there put up. A lot of those parts for that car, the Project Overkill car, just like you've seen me out here working on, a lot of those parts are already done. They're in totes, they're wrapped up. The totes are labeled so I know what they are, and it's just a matter of getting the body done. And that's where I've spent most of my time on this project, is trying to get all these small parts done. But it's all got to be done. So guys, I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate all the comments. Leave a comment and let me know what you think of the progress. And when I have some more progress, I'll be back online. Talk to you later.